Hello Wolfpack, I'm just going to be taking this video as a time to reiterate some of the things I've said in the past. Also got a new chart that I want to show you here, but mostly reiterating because not much has really happened other than the fact that we've come down obviously in the last daily candle and seen a very large kind of volatility in that daily candle from 23.7k to 25.2k, but ultimately nothing's happened, right? We know that the critical level we need to hold is 23.8k in the short term. We know that we're in an ascending wedge structure. We know that if we break below that wedge, that would be an instant sell signal for any of our positions. And of course, what we do know as well is that Bitcoin has a macro downtrending line that we're going to be testing shortly, maybe within the next couple of weeks. Ethereum has a macro downtrending line, and the S&P 500 has a macro downtrending line. We know all of these things, right? We also know, and if you don't know this, well then I'm showing you right now, we also know that in order for the bottom to be fully confirmed on a macro time frame, we need to break 28.6k, because 28.6k is the macro the macro level that was relevant during the bull market, and also breaking 28.6k would be a break above the bull market support band, which of course is very relevant, and a lot of people know that through the likes of Benjamin Cohen, who talks about it every 3 bloody days, or did at least. But okay, I did not intend this to be a beef video, but that's what it's going to be, alright? I'm not editing it. No cuts. Alright, anyway, regardless, 28.6k is the critical level for the macro bear market kind of invalidation. That would confirm the bottom is in. Until that point, we're in a neutral place. We're neutral at this point, right? We're in a macro bear market, right? Even though short term can be bullish, yeah, whatever. Even though I'm holding Bitcoin right now, cool, yeah, okay, short term, fine. But the point is, macro, we are actually neutral right now because we're just in the middle. We're in no man's land. We're in the middle of being, between kind of going down and going up. We're just sitting there lurking, waiting to see what's going to happen, and mostly waiting to see what's going to happen with that macro downtrending line, right? So we know what the plan is. The plan was this: break a daily candle above 23.8k, and we bought, and now we're kind of waiting. And if we break below the wedge, we're selling. And guess what? The wedge's support line has come up far enough that basically we have no chance of losing on this trade. Basically, we have no chance of losing because the wedge line has come up far enough that it's basically almost above 23.8k. And so this is a free trade. We're in a free position here, and hopefully it goes up. But that's basically what's going on with Bitcoin. I mean, there are a few things that are very concerning, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you the daily chart is bullish. It's really not that bullish in my opinion. We're in an ascending wedge first and foremost. We're barely holding onto resistance. If we went to the Binance chart, I could show you in a second, the volume is quite abysmal. We're heading straight into macro resistance, not only on Bitcoin, also on the S&P 500 and on Ethereum. And on top of that, stochastic RSI has topped out. Each of the last 4 times that it's topped out, we've seen a 10% correction at least. We're still within the RSI structure. Yes, it is an ascending triangle structure, but the point is we rejected from the top of it. So yeah, it's not like we're not sitting here and saying this is an incredibly bullish time, because it's actually really not. And if we flip over the chart, we invert the chart, we can see quite clearly that, inverting the chart just makes it even more evident how non-bullish this really is. That's the descending wedge formation. Realistically, if TA mattered here, that would break to the upside, and hence, if we flip it back over, we would break to the downside. We'd go back to like 19k or something, which is the 2017 all-time high. So sitting here and saying, oh, the short term's so bullish, I'm going to buy going into resistance in ascending wedge formation is really dumb, in my opinion. Now, we've already bought, because we bought at the break of 23.8k. That's fine, and we've got no risk on that trade. But buying right now, knowing what everything is happening, knowing what's going on, I think it's incredibly stupid. I think that you should be waiting until we break this macro downtrending line before buying any further positions, because that is really the critical region that we need to be breaking, at least for short-term structure. And furthermore, so you'd buy at the break here. And furthermore, if you wanted to buy even more for a long-term hold, you'd actually buy at the break of 28.6k on the confirmation that the bottom is in. And then, you'd have like a 23.8k buy, a 26k buy, and a 28.6k buy. Your average price would be like 25k. I think that's a pretty good average price to have for Bitcoin. Regardless of all of that, though, what I wanted to talk about today mainly, because this is just reiterating old points, a difficult word to pronounce there, for me at least. Anyway. We've got the 21 MA on the monthly, right? 21 SMA on the monthly, and the 50-week SMA, right? Applied to the monthly chart. That's for 21 on the monthly and the 50 on the weekly applied to the monthly chart. The interesting thing about this is what we can see here is that in history, previous times when the 50 has crossed underneath the 21, we have seen the bottom on Bitcoin, right? And that's happened again right now. That would be an indication that the bottom is in on Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of signs. I mean, if we brought up Pi Cycle, we could show you the same thing. Pi Cycle predicted the bottom as well. Heaps of things predicted the bottom. This macro uptrending line predicted the bottom. And whether or not that is the bottom yet is not confirmed. And this is why I'm not yet distancing myself from the 4-year cycle Q4 bottom prediction, because it's not worthy of distancing myself from that yet, because it's not confirmed yet. These could just be false flags. There's no confirmation. We haven't broken upwards yet. They could very well be false flags. But what we can say is that they are promising signs, right? And with inflation at least temporarily topping out, we don't know whether it's actually topped out or not. That's really the driving force of this. I mean, we discovered yesterday, if we looked at the S&P, I think like 2 days after the last negative CPI reading came in, we started going up. That's because the market realized that actually inflation was topped out. And so it started pricing it in. So this is directly, and there's clear-cut evidence to suggest that the only reason Bitcoin bottomed out, at least in the short term, was from inflation topping out. I mean, that's abundantly clear. There's no doubt about that. That's objectively true, not even slightly subjective. So the only reason Bitcoin bottomed out 17K, really, I mean, yeah, we had macro support, sure thing, but rarely the only reason it bottomed out is because of something that was completely out of control of the market, out of control of the TA, out of control of the charts, and hence just kind of, a bit of a random thing. So in a way, it was actually just luck. And people don't like to hear that because they think they can predict the future or whatever. But and I suppose you can to a certain extent. But predicting inflation and predicting what's going to happen out of an ascending triangle formation, they're two completely different games. I mean, I'm not an economist. I can't predict where inflation is going to go. I can give you my best guess, based on oil prices, based on, certain, what the market's doing, because the market generally gives you a pretty good indication of what that actual inflation number is. I mean, the S&P pumping for the entirety of last month was a pretty good indication that CPI was going to come in lower. But I'm not going to sit here and say I can predict what's going to happen with inflation in the next 3 months, because it's out of my control entirely, and also I don't have the knowledge to do that. But I think that someone who would have had the knowledge to do that would have been able to predict this bottom much better, hence the market pumping, right? So, this is where you need to be an economist a little bit, and this is where TA gets away from you a little bit, and I think it's worthy to know that. It's worthy to know that catching the bottom is not as easy as looking at a chart sometimes. Now, that doesn't mean the chart wasn't relevant. It was, and the reason we know that is because we actually bounced off of a line that was very relevant from the chart, this macro uptrending line, and so TA still mattered, but it didn't give us the whole story. And I think that premise is going to follow through over the next few weeks. TA is going to matter, but it's not going to give us the whole story, because I can tell you right now, if inflation has not actually topped out, and inflation's only topped out due to the midterm elections, and they're making it look like it's topped out, we will go back down on Bitcoin. This, the ball really lies in the macro right now. It's not really much to do with the short-term TA. So what we can do, and this is what I posted on Twitter earlier today, I'm going to bring it up for you. What we can do is we can say this. We can say, knowing how to react when the price does a certain thing is far more important than knowing what the price is going to do, right? That is very important. And I've outlined exactly how you should be reacting. I'm not going to try and predict it. That's why I'm saying I'm neutral at this point in time, but I've outlined exactly how you should react. Reacting is very clear. This is how you should react. Break above the macro downtrend line, you buy. Break below 23.8K, you sell. Break below the wedge, you sell. Very simple stuff. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let's look at a few things before we end the video. First and foremost, Wolves Crypto VIP. Go to my YouTube channel, click the join button. You will see all the perks you can gain access to as a VIP member. 28 USD a month, less than $1 a day for all this stuff. Go ahead and check it out. Then we've got the BitGet Exchange, half the fees of Binance, non-KYC, about 70 to 80 coin pairs picked by traders for traders, meaning they've had a fundamental test on them. No exchange-driven liquidation wicks as well, unlike Binance. This is the exchange for you. Got a reward center with over 4,000 USD in rewards on top of that. Takes 5 minutes to sign up and it's completely free. Use my referral link in the description below to do that. And then lastly, a Crypto Academy, which is a company developed by myself and Mega Crypto. We're teaching people how to trade in a 10-unit course. If you're interested in learning how to trade, you can send us an email here. Check out the website and the link. But send us an email here at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com and we'll get back to you with the relevant payment information, as well as a video explaining what the course is, what it looks like, etc. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you in the next one, guys. Cheers.